So it turns out I'm back by unpopular demand. As you can see, I've manfully wrestled my COVID-19 lockdown beard to the ground and humanely destroyed it. And what I thought I'd do tonight is talk about a song that's very much in my personal top 10, a song that's really quite special and important for me. This is a song about the war in Bosnia. It's about disco dancing. And for me at least, it's about something of an origin story. This is a song called A Few Words for the Dead by the British band Marillion. So let's click that on. Now, I have a little confession to make here. I got very much an inside track on this particular song and this particular band. In fact, I made the video that's playing in the background now. My partner and I, in 1999 from Johannesburg in South Africa, contacted Marillion and suggested that maybe they should make some movies, some DVDs, and that we could do it. And cut a long story short, we ended up doing exactly that. We ended up making some concert movies and some documentary material and some music videos, and it was very much a professional and personal highlight. But their music mattered to me before I started making movies with them. In fact, I started making movies with them because their music mattered to me and their lyrics mattered to me, and what Steve Hogarth had to say mattered to me. And the interesting thing about Mr. Hogarth is that it very much matters to him. He's repeatedly gone on record as saying that he can't and won't sing a song unless it means something to him, unless he feels it. And that's not just he won't record a song, but every single night he has to feel it, he has to emote it. And that's part of what powers his performance. Now in this case, he's writing ostensibly, he's said in interviews and publicly that he's writing here about the war in Bosnia, about that terrible conflict that was ripping apart the east of Europe, where people were murdering each other in the name of religion, in the name of one faith or another. But the interesting thing about Steve, as I've come to experience it, is as much as he'll write about global imagery and about thematic things, he also laces that imagery with deeply personal things that are specific entirely to him. I mean, what he's talking about here is clearly about the sort of messaging of people sending young men to war. But it's equally, I believe, about the life experience of growing up in what Steve himself would describe as a dirty northern town. And in the same way, the life experience of growing up in a state in America or a region in Africa, the tribal nature of the world. There you go, disco dancing. And there it is. It carries on. What Hogarth is saying here in painting this imagery is that as long as we keep defining ourselves by our differences, as long as we keep empowering ourselves with the weapons and the aggressions of difference, it will carry on. And by it, conflict, the urge to combat, the urge to fight each other, the things that tear us apart. And it's an incredibly clever duality in this lyric. Pick up your weapon, marry it, give it your name, define yourself by it, take it down the disco. Sure, he's talking about Bosnia. He's talking about, I seem in the back of my mind to remember, he's talking about an incident where somebody literally opened fire with an automatic weapon in a disco. But I suspect he's also talking about that dynamic of the dirty northern town, or the hard-edged southern city, the urge to go down the disco and fight over your woman, fight over your football team, fight over the things that divide. And to me, that's a very clever part of this lyric, is the idea that the duality of a surface layer that he's talking about a conflict about which most of us didn't know very much, but another layer that's talking about conflict that we all intimately understand and experience every single day. Trigger happy, pulling power, lady killer, take 'em out. Yeah. And then again, see the weirdos on the hill come to get you if you stand still. It's the othering of people. It's the othering of ideas. It's the othering of opinion. It's the thing that says, if you're not with me, you're my enemy. If we don't share a specific belief system, you are my enemy. If you're a different political party to me, if you support a different band to me, or a different football club, if you are from over the hill, you're the weirdo that's going to come and murder me in my sleep unless I go and murder you. And as long as we keep spreading that message, it carries on. Banging the drum, Mr. Mosley. I hate to stop it, but that right there, that lyric it's politics, it's social history, it's society. Somewhere in history you were wronged. Teach your children to bang the drum. Tell your family, tell your friends, teach your brothers to avenge. The perpetuation of violence, the perpetuation of animosity, the perpetuation of grievance, the grievance politics of every aspect of life. And as long as we keep teaching our brothers to avenge, it carries on. And suddenly we transcend. Or you could love. Or you could love. So for the last few years, at least 15, maybe 20, I've signed off every single email. My email signature has contained the words, "or you could love." It's impossible to live up to as a philosophy. It's an absolute impossibility. For someone who is self-described as being operated on the basis of rage and tea, I can't possibly live up to that challenge, "or you could love." But I can aspire to it. I can aspire to that idea that the universal alternative to teaching our brothers to avenge, the universal alternative to anger and rage and dissatisfaction and shame and all of those things is love. It's unfortunately probably something of a middle class affectation, this idea that you could lie down in the flowers in the blue of the air and simply enjoy the world. But even if you can't do it, don't you want to feel this way? Don't you want to feel like this? No need to fight for what everyone has. What do you need? It's already there. Yeah. We all need to eat. We all need to live. We all need to pay the bills. But ultimately, what do we need? We need to feel loved, to be loved. And as an aspiration, as a mission statement, "or you could love" encapsulates what I aspire to. And that's quite a thing for a piece of music to do. "Or you could love." Now the imagery of this last piece, the beautiful combination of words, the stars carried in the pocket, the sunrise, being drunk until you're drunk, the angels that swim like minnows in his blood. It's just glorious expression of the alternative and the possibility of "or you could love." And clearly Mr. Hogarth bought that t-shirt for that moment. And when we filmed it, we knew it was beautiful. Now, in the album version of this song, this last line, "they were happy," was a muted part of the song. Here, it was shouted out at the top of his voice to an audience that had just bounced so dramatically on the stage that for a minute we all thought we were going to go through to the bottom floor and join the disco downstairs, which probably would have been an irony. Anyway, yeah, that's to me, that is a formative song. That's an important song, and more than anything, it's a personal mission statement and philosophy. "Or you could love." So thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again. Until then, keep the faith.